All right. I am going to be doing a response of a response. I'm going to respond to both people. Here, let me make myself a little bigger. There you go. So I'm responding to everybody in the thing. Asmongold and whatever the other person's name is, who honestly, I disagree with them both drastically. So we'll see how this goes. The Asmongold video is like 35 minutes long. So this is probably going to be like an hour long. So put it on while you're at work or something. I wouldn't bother with trying to sit through the whole thing, all at the same time. That would be kind of nuts. But anywho, let's get to it. So I'm gonna make myself little again, maybe. Yeah, make myself a little guy, or maybe this one. Is this one a little better? Like this, maybe. Boom. Not really. This one's better, I think. So let's go. Asmongold puts out a video called "They Keep Making Videos About Me."
LGBT community. I invite you, Asmongold, to read up. The guy's name was Sam Nordquist. He was 24 years old. He's dead now. He was tortured. He was murdered. Never did anything wrong. Except.
So you're telling me that there's a person who was gay that got killed? That's crazy. I would have never believed that. Wow. I guess every gay person is right about everything now. Great argument.
Well, what I want to know is who murdered him. Because anytime an Asian or trans person gets murdered, I find it odd that the people, especially leftist, Marxists like this fat ass, they never want to say who killed the trans person. And the reason is because statistically, if you're trans, you're more likely to get killed by a black person than you are a white person. So that is an uncomfortable thing for them to talk about.
Have the confidence, the bones to be who he is.
Yep.
But, I guess that's not good enough for you.
Who is this guy?
Asmongold. He doesn't pass the cool check. That's unfortunate for him because he's dead.
What do you think? I'm like spamming a W because some random guy got killed because he's gay? Why would I do that? That's insane.
Because this guy's basically retarded.
Who is this?
I told you.
I wonder if someone like Asmongold, seriously, I wonder if he is aware of his influence, and I wonder if he's...
I am. That's why I do what I do.
Sad or depressed or...
Is that this isn't...
Not terribly bright? This is 3 hours ago. There's, over 250,000 people have watched this.
Yes.
If you're worried and being influenced by people on Twitch, Twitter, whatever, you need to get a life. Because, that's just super sad. Super sad. While I do like watching some of Asmongold's videos because I find them humorous, in no way does he influence me at all. Because I'm not a sheep and I don't go online looking for people to tell me what to think.
Hey, man, I support his right to think whatever he wants. He has a right to dislike people. He has a right to express it as long as it doesn't incite violence. But I would say that I'm more bothered by the fact that his audience is just so goddamn big.
So he's a player hater. Asmongold, congrats on having a huge audience.
As I said, guys, it's just everybody is really lucky that I'm the most humble and modest streamer.
My piddly little YouTube
I mean,
channel
this amount of ego glazing, like this, it's been going crazy. It really.
My piddly little YouTube channel has like 3,000 people on it, and it's not even monetized. Why? Because I don't give a shit, and I don't want to be responsible for influencing anyone. And most of the times, all I talk about is modeling and Gundam, Trench Crusade 40K history. So yeah, there's whatever, It's not like, and for whatever reason, I like Asmongold's charisma. I don't know what that's all about, but something about the way he like kind of looks off and like wiggles his eyebrows and does all of his stuff. I don't know. It's a lot more interesting to watch than like I guess a boring old guy like me.
It is. It's been going absolutely wild. Wow. Wow. Luckily, this doesn't affect me. Of course, I would never let this affect my ego. That'd be silly.
I've never noticed Asmongold having an ego.
I don't understand.
You know what the worst?
I mean, I understand how perhaps you can like the guy's gaming content or World of Warcraft content or even his anti-woke content or whatever. But, I mean, we're coming off the weekend of learning about this story. This was in Atlanta. This was a story, it's the New York Times, but it's all over. A person killed in New York was tortured for more than a month. It was a train.
I wonder what David thinks my opinion about this is.
Yeah, this is
I wonder, like
he's trying to guilt you.
Because I'm really curious. Like, what does he think that I believe about this?
Like,
it's emotional manipulation. No, it is. It's emotional manipulation. What he's doing is he's using a person, and this is disgusting. The person who killed this person should go to jail for life. Everybody agrees with that. In a good chance, probably torture for more than it's disgusting.
David
Everybody agrees with this.
Literally standing on the grave of the poor guy who got killed.
Trans man, the cops are saying that this is pretty much the repeated acts of violence and torture between December and this month. In my 20-year of law enforcement career, this is one of the most horrific crimes I've ever investigated.
It's terrible.
The facts and circumstances of the crime are beyond depraved. One of the people who did the torturing and murder was a sex offender who lived in this hotel. And while there is no definitive proof this was or was not a hate crime, they asked the police captain, said such determination has not been ruled out, nor...
So, wait a minute. You don't even know if it was a hate crime at all, and you're automatically... So not only... So let me get this straight. So not only do... is the implication that I'm complicit in or okay with having a person being killed because they're gay, but on top of that, it's not even confirmed that that's the reason why. The police aren't even saying that. Now, you're drawing this conclusion, and I think that there's a good chance that he could be right, but we don't even know this.
My conclusion would be...
So this is like level 2 dishonesty. It's second order lying.
Is the trans guy was probably out there trying to...
Has the possibility of more arrests, so they don't know yet. But, I mean,
excuse me.
Let's just, for the sake of this conversation, assume that this very much probably was some sort of a hate crime.
Yeah, what probably happened is the trans guy was out there trying to prostitute himself, got picked up by a couple of meth heads or something, and when they found out that, person had a ding-a-ling, they went wild on him. It unfortunately has happened multiple times. This is not even a new thing. I mean, if you're a trans person and you're going to be a prostitute, I would say be upfront, kind of like how they are in Thailand. Just let people know you're a lady boy or something, because you hop in bed with somebody, start fooling around with them, and they reach down there and grab a shaft. You don't know how somebody's going to react to that. I mean, that could literally, not that it justifies, all the torture and murder and everything, but you could really set somebody off. And it has happened multiple times. However, this whole story is emotional blackmail. Asmongold is right. And it's not something that it's like after I'm done making this video, I won't think about this again. You know, uh, today and on that day, thousands of people died. So his death, while horrible because of the way it happened, is not special to me. In the great scheme of things, especially since, I didn't know him. So sorry, guy, I just don't care. Maybe I'm a sociopath. Maybe I'm just emotionally hardened from years as a firefighter. Either way, um, yeah, it's sad that happened, and that's where I would drop it. Sad that happened. Wish things like that wouldn't happen, but you know what? They do. They happen. And like I said, a lot of times it's misunderstandings between people who are out there trying to do sex work, which of course they shouldn't be doing because it's a sin. But they're out there trying to do sex work and they represent themselves as something they're not. And then when a person who is straight finds out that he is involved in homosexual sex, yeah, bad things happen. And I'd be interested to know more about that case. I might have to look it up. Maybe not.
Because this
I
is
would assume that it was too, but I mean, the police don't, and I think that him framing it this way leads people to, I wouldn't accuse and attack somebody off of that assumption. That's a bit much.
culture that people like Asmongold, in my opinion.
Yes. Please say that I promote killing transgender people. Please say it. I want to hear it, David.
It's intentional. I don't think he's asking or advocating for violence against people. I'm not saying he caused this at all. I think people should be responsible for their own actions. And this guy, I do defend his right to say whatever he wants. But I just, the amount of hate that is out there and the amount of cruelty towards the LGBT community and how that, all you have to do is look at the news and listen to these people and stop treating them like jokes and actually just be fucking human for a minute. And
if they actually wanted not to be treated the way that some people treat them, they wouldn't dress up like clowns and run around screaming and making their mental illness everyone else's problem. I know that that's like, something that a lot of people don't seem to be able to wrap their mind around, but it is what it is. I mean, these people, and also when you say LGBTQ, you need to go ahead and cut the T and the Q off, because the LGB is not the ones that are making all the hoopla about shit. It's the T's. And the reason is because the T's are mentally ill. They are mentally ill. They are suffering. But we live in a society where instead of trying to help these people who are suffering, we just tell them what they're doing is brave and, whatever. And they can be whatever they want, which, come on, guys. We all know that's a lie. You can't be whatever you want. Like, I cannot be Napoleon. No matter how much I want, I cannot be Napoleon. I also can never be a bird, a walrus, perhaps one day a worm when I'm dead, if the worm's feeding on me. But yeah, I mean, playing into their fantasy and letting them force people to play in their fantasy does not help them. But even so, look at these people. Look at these people. I mean, don't dress like a clown if you don't want to be laughed at. It really is that simple.
You realize just...
If you want people to not treat you like a joke, then don't act like one. If you act psychotic and if you act hysterical, you're rude, you're loud, people are going to think that you're an asshole.
Yep.
That's it. It's literally that simple.
Yep.
If you behave like a joke, people are going to start laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no reason that this person needs to behave and act and speak the way that they did. And if you look at the actual LGBT activists that in the past actually made real change, and I'm talking about not just getting likes on Twitter, but actually changed the world and changed the way that people saw the world, they didn't act like this.
Nope.
And that's true with any sort of social movement.
Nope.
It's true with all of them.
As a matter of fact,
It's always these LARPers that probably live privileged lives that are looking for somebody to find they're desperately looking for a cross.
Like back in the day when gay people were like marching to try to, get rights and stuff, the thing was they made you feel bad because they're like, and they were being murdered sometimes and beat up and just like it was horrible, right? And I mean, mostly gay men, but some gay women, they were being really badly mistreated. But back then, the trans movement, no one even heard of it. And when I would go out to like freaky clubs with like friends or like a girl I used to date, to see drag races and shit like that, it was just a good time had by all. Everybody went out and watched the different, basically the circus, and everyone had a good time. But for some reason in the last 10 years, that's changed. It's like you're not allowed to have a good time. You're not allowed to, BS around or joke around with anybody. And you have to 100% bend the knee to what they want. And just most people, especially people who are devoutly Christian, and I mean real Christians, not fake Christians that, do all their stupid shit, just aren't going to go with that. It's just not a thing that's going to happen. So, while I don't want to blame the victim, in this particular case, they're not helping themselves. It's like at this point, when you hear somebody's trans, the first thing that goes through my mind is somebody needs to investigate their parents because there was probably some serious trauma. And that's why this person is so effed up, because sexual dysphoria can be caused by childhood trauma. So, I guess all you got to do really, if you want to know all about it, is read the book by, what was his name? Dr. Professor Money or whatever. I mean, that guy, all of this is based on his research. And that dude should have been thrown in prison for child abuse. So, yeah. Anyway, let's keep going, though. We don't want to.
For somebody to nail them up to, they're the ones that are doing this.
True. True.
How much shit these people are dealing with and suffering through. And to be someone sitting up there with all of this guy's money, all of this guy's influence, me, Asmongold, and just go, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to make money off the misery of this community. Now, do I think this lady up here, whoever's speaking, is a bit of a goofy person?
Say it.
Yeah. I mean, she's going...
nuts. They're nuts.
Asmongold, how dare you make money making videos that some people might want to watch and then benefiting from it? I mean, how very dare you, homie? I mean, what a horrible human being you are. I mean, I'm being actually completely sarcastic. I mean, I don't think you're a horrible human being. I think you're just a dude with like a weird facial tick that used to play Warhammer or Warcraft, which, let's be honest, World of Warcraft was the worst MMO ever made. Dark Age of Camelot was far, far superior.
They're fucking nuts. Like,
They are.
so you even agree with me? Like, you're just mad that people like what is even the problem?
Out of her way to be flamboyant and get
Yes.
attention, and that's what she wants and that's what she needs to get her message out. And
But it's not getting the message out. It's doing the opposite effect. That's why the video that I did was so popular. That's the whole point that I'm making. It's that doing this, and the message that they're giving people is that this group of people is hysterical, obnoxious, psychotic, and rude. It's not benefiting anybody.
Nope.
It doesn't help them. It doesn't help their cause. It doesn't help people that are against them. It's just toxic to everything.
Yep.
That's the whole point of the conversation, is that you need to get these toxic, privileged narcissists out of social causes, go back to your fucking gated communities, and solve the problems in your own fucking life, rather than dragging around the cross looking for a cause that'll nail you up to it. It's fucking obnoxious. It's annoying, and everybody can see it. It's exhausting.
opens herself up to that. But that said, though,
no falsehood.
Asmongold, read the fucking room, man. You can have your opinion. People can support.
I'm supposed to read the room when everybody you just said before that everybody was saying that I was right. So if I'm reading the room and you just complain that there's a lot of people in my room, it sure seems like I can read pretty well, huh?
Respect your opinion, but what are you doing, man? You've got 3 million people who watch your shit. These people are dying. They're not coming for you, buddy. You can't be as successful as you have been so far, Asmongold, and not recognize that there are people on both sides of all these kinds of arguments that use these as wedge issues to piss people off and get.
You're completely right.
Completely well-known fact, everyone involved. Trans people generally are more likely to kill themselves than any other thing. So, yeah, people are dying. They need therapy. They need whatever the hell is wrong with them fixed. They don't need people telling them that they're brave and tremendous and beautiful people. They need somebody to give them the cold hard truth and say, look, stop being a weirdo. But people don't want to do that. That's the problem. That is the big problem. Here we go.
Things up, and I think that's absolutely true. And I said the same thing before about those protesters, those counter protesters in New Zealand. I said that I disagree with them. I think that they're ridiculous. They were anti-LGBT. I said that 2 days ago. I said it was ridiculous to do that. It's outrageous.
It's not outrageous. You have to remember that there are multiple Abrahamic religions, and in these multiple Abrahamic religions, homosexuality is considered to be a sin. Not only a sin, but trying to promote it as normal is more than a sin. It's a crime. So while, a Christian like me might be live and let live, that does not mean that I will ever accept their lifestyle as anything other than degraded and probably a response to trauma from when they were very young. So the people in New Zealand, if they were a bunch of Muslims, Jews, or Christians, that's not disgusting. That's people following their social and religious conscience, and that is not a bad thing ever. Whether Asmongold believes in God or not doesn't matter to me. But yeah, we're not gonna, knock on religious people for standing strong to their religion. I mean, that's kind of stupid, right? If anything, you should admire them for having the strength of character to go against everything in the world that is 100% against them to try to promote this sick freaking lifestyle, because that actually takes a lot more bravery than this sparkly weirdo here yelling at some old man on a city council. Being able to stand up and be on the unpopular side of the issue, and yet the right side, the moral side.
And folks mad that would contribute to their campaign or their PR.
Yes.
You must know that. And I don't think you have a responsibility to anyone but yourself. I'm not trying to shame you or anything. Not that my little channel could do that, but I'm not trying to make it like you are.
I mean, the video is titled Asmongold. You spelled my name wrong. Should know and be better.
Yeah.
Should know, do, / be better. I mean, I feel like that's kind of shaming, but okay, that's fine. And also, by the way, David, like, I'm a grown-ass man. I can handle this. I can handle criticism. You don't need to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to get my feelings fucking hurt. I'm not a little bitch on Twitter. I get it. I'm fine. I'm good.
Because you have a big following, you have to be a, quote, good guy in my eyes. But could you at least think before you hit publish or post or whatever the fuck you do?
Hello, Council.
This is him reacting.
So has David...
I don't know, maybe his audience is like 12-year-old boys. Maybe they really buy this and think it's funny. And again, you can hate this lady.
They're not. I've showed my demographics before.
Yeah.
David is part of my core audience. I've got a lot of Davids in my core audience.
Yeah.
I was driving home from the gas station today. I walked out to the parking lot, and there was a guy that looked a little bit kind of like David, about the same age. Hey! Yeah, so actually, that's not really the case.
Yeah, everybody knows that PewDiePie...
and you can hate everything she stands for, but for the love of God, could you at least acknowledge that this guy's full of shit? Do you really think this is a real, genuine laugh? So, it's like, I respect the audience more. And it's like, really, dude? But hey, if they buy it, they buy it, man. I love the WWE. I know it's bullshit. Maybe people know this bullshit, too. I don't know. Here he goes. This will take a while, but let's enjoy.
Let's go back. We're gonna go forward.
Yeah.
I'll go to the end.
Yeah. We've all seen that person acting like a weirdo.
We'll see what stands up in court. Uninformed. Do you think all of this is
people, but people that we need to task to know?
Think these you're so. In order for the top 1% to get tax breaks, do you think these you're so uninformed? Do you think all of this is what it sounds like this guy believes?
Elon Musk has paid more in taxes in like 1 year than you will ever pay in your life, even if you were to live to be 1,000 years old. So this tax breaks for the ultra rich that lefties like to bust out. The lefties are the ultra rich. I mean, you're going to go after Elon Musk or Donald Trump, but not say anything about Ocasio-Cortez and her millions of dollars that just sprang out of nowhere, or the fact that Nancy Pelosi is the greatest stock trader of all time. So this just shows your bias, right? I think last year, I could be wrong, double check if you wish, that Elon Musk paid over $400 million in taxes. And that was 1 year. Trump has released his tax records too. And like he said, he don't pay a lot of taxes because he's smarter than you. And he can hire a bunch of lawyers to use every loophole to get out paying as much taxes as possible. And that'll never change because the Democrats who write the tax code, they use the same loopholes. So yeah, Doge is not doing anything stupid. They are auditing the government and firing people when they don't need to be there. You would think every American would be happy that we found out that we paid for the Palestinians to make all their terror tunnels by giving them $300 million to make concrete plants, which weren't used to make houses. They were used to make concrete tunnels all under Gaza. So, yeah, you guys are idiots. And like anyone, even on the left these days, is stupid. The modern left is just pure evil by any measurement of the word. It's just evil, and it's full of evil people who want to do evil things. And you're just mad because Trump's your daddy.
All of these institutions that are being chopped by Doge and Trump, or
yeah, USAID, they actually helped finance the Maidan coup, which led to Russia taking over Crimea. And then when the Crimean or the Zelensky started killing civilians in the Donbass region, it started a civil war. And then, like, fast forward a decade, the Russians invaded and they are crushing the Ukrainians. And Zelensky, he's got his opportunity to surrender and maybe keep half of Ukraine, but yeah, he's done. He's never getting Crimea back, and he'll probably not get Luhansk or Donbass back either. So, and does he need them? No. As a matter of fact, Kiev was the capital of the first Russian Empire, the Kievan Rus. So, Ukraine never existed. That's a side post, though. It's not a real country. It came into existence after the fall of the Soviet Union.
at least attempting to be. We'll see what stands up court, but attempting to be. Do you guys really think the savings of those particular bodies in government that cost money is going to be passed on to the consumer?
I don't care if they take all the money that's saved from not paying these government scumbags and they put it in a big pile in the middle of DC and just burn it. I would rather not get anything. Just knowing that they're not would be fine for me. These people have been living off the government for so long that I have zero sympathy for any of them. And they deserve to be fired. They never deserved their jobs. And the fact that they've been using these different little groups to support terrorism, they need to go to jail. And some of them will. Some of them will. So, again, you're a lefty piece of shit. Dave, you're a lefty piece of shit.
Do you think your egg prices are really going to go down? No, it's to pay for the tax.
I'm not even. I'm not following this at all. I'm very confused. Maybe I'm coming in halfway through the point.
Tax breaks for the top 1%. This is documented.
I literally just spent an hour arguing with people.
It's not documented. It's not documented. You're lying. Tax breaks for the top 1%. The top 1% have enough lawyers to find every loophole in the tax code that they could never pay taxes. That's why Bezos, Google, none of those guys pay taxes, and they're your boys. Do you think Soros pays taxes? No, because they don't have to, because they can hire people to do all the things so that they never have to. And these are your people, you know, but you want to go after Trump. And the reason is because you have a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, because you hate the fact that you're basically a failure in life. And so you want to blame people who are doing better than you. And that's sad, you know? I mean, why would you want to blame Elon? It's not Elon's fault that he was born a super genius and that he sent shit to space and designed robots to catch his rockets and, you know, knocked up 13 women or whatever the hell he's up to. That's not his fault. Maybe leftists should be more concerned with what they're doing in their life but you're always so much more concerned with what everyone else is doing in their life. It's like you're not a commissar. This is not the Soviet Union. No one gives a fuck what you think. I mean, I know you can go online and you might even have a group of guys like I do that go on your channel when you live stream and agree with you and high five you. And, when you make fun of the Canadians for being, getting their asses whipped at their own game. Actually, those weren't Canadians. That was Montreal. Those were Quebecois, and they deserve everything they got. But at the end of the day, you're just an envious prick. You're envious of Asmongold's success, and you're envious of the people with the money, but only if the people with the money, the 1%, as you say, are on the other side. You're not upset with the people with the money that are on your side, though. I mean, Nancy Pelosi has $200 million. But you didn't bring her up, right? And it's funny how that fence post keeps getting moved, that goalpost. It's like, first it was like millionaires are bad people, but now it's billionaires are bad people. Yeah, because all the Democrats are millionaires. Some of them 100 times over. So you had to move the goalposts to hate the billionaires. And when Elon Musk probably becomes a trillionaire, you'll move the goalposts again and be like, we hate trillionaires. The top 1% pays about 60% of the taxes in this country. Like Asmongold's got a lot of money. I bet he pays a lot of taxes. Me, I avoid taxes by, donating to IRAs and CDs and all kinds of stuff so that I've got my own health savings plans and stuff so that I can, write that off so that I don't have to pay any taxes on my money. That's called being smart and having a person who manages your financials so that you can use all of the loopholes the government provides to avoid paying taxes, because taxation is theft.
People to where I think that there should be more entitlement programs, like literally an hour. And so we don't really need to retread the same ground.
The entitlement programs should be safety net programs for American citizens only. I agree that no old lady should ever have to worry about, whether she can eat or not, or lose her house because, her husband died and the death taxes were so high that the government just came in and took her house and kicked her out on the street. That's the kind of shit the government does. So yeah, I'm totally against that. But there has to be a limit to your safety net programs, because otherwise you will just bankrupt the country, right? Everybody in the country does not look forward to paying 50%, 60% of their income. I mean, income tax shouldn't even exist anyway. For the first 100 years this country existed, there was no income tax. It was a scam set up by a bunch of, as you call them, rich douchebags to take advantage of our monetary system. Asmongold, I think, probably knows this because I think he's a smart guy. But this other idiot probably has no idea about the Federal Reserve and the Beast of Jekyll Island and the fact that income tax is a completely new unconstitutional thing, and that Clinton decided to put Social Security funds into the general funds, which meant they could be spent on wars and other stupid shit, which is why there's basically no money in Social Security anymore. And that is the Democrats' fault. They did it.
Everybody knows that that's not what I believe.
I don't know what you believe.
In economic policy, I am probably one of the most left-leaning people that there is.
See, I wouldn't brag about it, though, because left-leaning governments do nothing but fail, always. even from the time when the French did their commune back in 1700s or whatever, the Soviet Union, Mao Zedong. The only reason China survived is Mao Zedong put them on a capitalist economy, and they're very conservative. But yeah, leftist governments never last, because if you're going to take a bunch of money to do whatever virtuous thing you think you're doing, you're probably going to have to use government force to do that. So right off the bat, you're the bad guy, because you're going to the citizenry with the gun and forcing them to pay for shit they don't want to. That's called theft. When that happens, that's called theft.
The idea that he says, well, that's how we get where we are. Where are we? Where exactly are we? How are you suffering under the last 15 or 20 years? Certainly.
The last 15 or 20 years sucked. Bear, that's enough. The last 15 or, all of the Biden administration was a freaking joke. But hey, like I said, Trump's back. Trump's your daddy. He's going to, bring us back to a golden age. And who knows? Maybe we will absorb Canada. There's parts of Canada that would 100% be down for that. I mean, I know because I have many Canadian friends that I live stream with all the time. And yeah. And Europe should really just fuck off. The fact that that guy was online the other day crying because JD Vance said some stuff that hurt his feelings. When I see people that are just that weak, it doesn't make me want to help them. It makes me want to crush them into the dirt, because it's just like, how can you be so weak and yet be part of a government? How is that? Do you think Alexander the Great cried because somebody said something about him? I mean, geez, man. Yeah, so Europe didn't do themselves any favors by applauding while one of their, politicians cried on stage because JD Vance told them some hard truths about how the EU and England are basically turning into a totalitarian Soviet-style state. And maybe we don't share this. No, we don't. If you are willing to throw somebody in jail for praying silently on a corner and bothering no one, we don't share common values. And that's good, because that's why we whipped your ass, so that we wouldn't have to share common values with you people. You people are freaking scumbags, right? And by that, I mean the government. I'm sure that there are a lot of lovely people living in England right now who would love nothing more than America to send our military over there to liberate England from its corrupt leaders. But unfortunately, that's just not the kind of thing we do.
Compared to the LGBT community, you're not. How are you suffering over the last 20 years by the fact that, there is a Institute of National Health?
The LGBT aren't suffering because no one gives a shit. They walk around, they do their thing, they have boyfriends and husbands or girlfriends and wives. No one is upset or mad at the LGBT community. It's the TQ community that's dragging everything down. And until people separate those two things and realize, hey, these T's and Q's, right? These non-binary whatevers, and, I change my gender every other day, just depends on how I feel. Until those people get the psychological help that they actually need, all of this is bullshit. Everything you're saying is bullshit, and you're just trying to, for some reason, make Asmongold feel bad about. Why should Asmongold feel bad about anything? You know, or anyone. Why should anyone feel bad? Look at this on the screen. That is a clown, right? But you want me to not only take that serious, but pretend that what the delusion that they live with is real, even though I know it's a delusion. So no, I'm not doing it. And I don't think anyone should have to. And the fact that they expect it is what makes them hated in some circles.
How, the only thing that might have bothered you for is because maybe they say, hey, you can't, cohabitate with roaches and rats, and thus.
I don't have a problem with the Ministry of Health. That's fine. But to act like everything that they're doing is a good idea, I think that's an issue. Uh-huh.
Asmongold not going back at him, even though he's definitely throwing some barbs there. Now, I don't know anything about Asmongold and how he lives or anything like that, really. I've heard rumors. But that was definitely meant to be an insult to Asmongold. Because this he doesn't have any argument. He literally started this video out without an argument. The whole video is just him trying to bully and tone police Asmongold about some stupid shit that shouldn't even exist, because the people on screen screaming and yelling at their elected officials, look at me. I'm here begging for my life. It's like nobody's running around killing, T's. Nobody's doing that. The people who are killing T's are generally T's. So yeah, that's not like they're not hiding out. This is not, the Austrian painters, Germany. They're not having to hide in basements and whatever. All they really need to do is shut up and live their lives and leave other people alone. But they can't do that. And like I said, the reasoning is because of the trauma in their lives. Something happened that made these people feel so vulnerable and weak that now they can't help but bully everyone they encounter to make themselves feel strong again. Honestly, like I said, anyone who has a trans kid, if it were up to me, their parents would be investigated like hardcore for sexual abuse and stuff like that, because this is not something that just happens. If it was something that just happens, it would have been just happening throughout human history. But regardless of what some pro-trans people will try and tell you, it wasn't. Never has been. So, yeah, those people, they're lying to you. Just like the lady in New York that invented the concept of two-spirit people. It's bullshit. It's all a lie.
That forced you to clean your fucking house. Maybe that was it, and you have a bone to pick with these guys. I don't know. And again, I don't have any personal issues with Asmongold. I really don't.
Well, you just insulted him twice. And if Asmongold's house is really dirty like that, Asmongold, my man, you can hire people to come clean your house for like $50, right? Like those, mobile maid services and shit. You ain't got to put up with this guy talking shit like that. Just get a mobile maid to come to your house, pay her the $50. We both know you have it. And, then you'll have a clean house that you didn't have to really do any work on. And people like this asshole won't be able to try and think he's winning something by, attacking you.
After two personal insults.
Yeah.
I'm not, what? I don't give a fuck. Start beef, whatever. I'm 53 years old. But I have a beautiful, wonderful, goddamn trans son.
Okay.
And I have LGBT people all up and down my family. And even if I
So basically, what you're saying is you have a daughter that you allowed to pretend to be a boy. And so you feel like you've got a dog in the fight. Whereas my argument would be this guy needs to be checked out hardcore because what did he do to his kid that caused that child to decide to, you know, become so mentally ill, right? Yeah, I would definitely be looking into this guy's past because I stand by it. A lot of the people, and you can look it up yourself, they'll tell you a lot of trans people were abused as children. So if this guy's got a beautiful trans son, yeah, I'm not going to come right out and claim that he's anything. I'm just going to say if I were in charge of things, he would definitely be getting investigated. 100%. 100%. Him and his wife would both be getting investigated. And I have gay friends up and down my... Yeah, whatever. Okay. All right. That's like saying, next you'll be like, I got black friends. Shut up.
didn't, I'm a goddamn human being who makes enough money that I don't have to worry where my next paycheck is coming from. And you know good and goddamn well Asmongold does too. But so here's the point. People like us, Asmongold, and you're certainly way up on the pecking order compared to me. But people who don't have to worry about how to pay their bills, could you stop fucking muddying the waters and punching down at people that need, if nothing else, if you don't like them, their lifestyle.
So he views this as punching down because I'm...
Punching down is just something someone invented in the last decade to muddy the waters and make people feel a certain way about people having opinions about things. It's stupid, and no one should be listening to anyone who is willing to use terms like punching down. It's like the whole idea of punching down is like the most racist thing, because there's only one group in America that you can make fun of that it wouldn't be considered punching down, right? So that's kind of like the other issue where they're like people of color, which takes everyone in the whole world and puts them all in the same group against one group. And this is the kind of shit that leftist bullshitters have been doing for a decade or so. And no, not impressed. This guy is a freaking baked potato for a brain.
Making fun of these people. I actually think that a lot of these people are mentally disturbed. And I don't think that they're mentally disturbed because they're gay or trans. I think that they're mentally disturbed in other ways too. The way that this person is acting is not the way that a normal person would act in any sort of natural situation. And I think that in a lot of cases, these people actually do need help, and they do need to have a higher degree of medical support, mental medical support, because there's a lot of stuff that's wrong with them. There are. And I do think that. And I think that constantly just, like, kind of just pacifying them and telling them, oh, it's okay, you're right, all of this stuff, I don't think that that's created a positive result. I think that what that's done is that's enabled them to become more extreme, more radicalized, and more upset.
Yeah.
That's what's happened.
Like I said.
And so when I look at how to help somebody, helping somebody isn't always doing what they want.
No. Sometimes
that's not helping somebody.
And like I said earlier, if you look into the statistics, almost every single person that claims to be trans had an incredibly traumatic upbringing. A lot of times including abuse by the parents, etc. So, yeah. So again, if this guy's got a beautiful trans son that wants to, or daughter that wants to pretend to be a son, well, ask yourself, why would a little girl decide she'd rather be a boy than a girl? Well, one reason could be because maybe she's tired of being abused and she realizes that by pretending to be a girl, the abuse will stop. Or pretending to be a boy, that maybe the abuse will stop. I mean, I'm not saying I'm 100% correct on that part as far as it concerns anyone in this video. I am telling you, if you think about it, it makes all the sense in the world. All the sense in the world. So, yeah. So now I would definitely be, if I had been too stupid to become a firefighter and I'd become a cop, I would be side-eyeing this guy, like any parent that's got like a ton of trans children. Yeah, they need to be looked into because they're making their kids trans, and that's through trauma, mental abuse, etc. They're doing this. They're turning their kids into pound puppies, little purse puppies that they can carry around and be like, look how virtuous I am. I have a trans child. And it's like, you're not virtuous. You're an abuser. You have abused your child to the point that your child has completely disconnected from reality. But what? You want accolades for that? You don't deserve accolades. You deserve prison.
That's making yourself feel good.
Well, their quote choices, just ignore them. They're not hurting anybody. At worst, just ignore them.
No.
But at best, maybe stop making videos that communicate to your very impressionable audience that these people are the enemies. You want to send them to the enemies? Fuck, man. Send them to the health companies. Send them to the fucking pharmaceutical.
Everything that Luigi said and did besides killing the guy, I agree with. I believe for and I advocate in single-payer healthcare. I would have voted for Bernie Sanders for president, and if he ran again, I'd vote for him even now.
Companies.
And yet countries like Canada and England that have single-payer healthcare and shit like that are going bankrupt and just hating it, month-long waits, etc. No, single-payer healthcare is, again, you telling a doctor they need to work for you, and you're going to tell them how much they can make. And if they don't like it, well, then either they don't get to work or, if necessary, they get enslaved. Because the idea that we're going to have a government run health, because the government runs everything so good. Like everything the government runs just is amazing, right? And that's for both of you idiots. And I'll call Asmongold an idiot on this one. That's just so stupid. The single payer system does not work and it bankrupts the country. So no, we're not doing that. Thank you, though. Now, that said, I'm not saying we don't need to work on our medical system because there are issues. But no, we'll not be going the communist route. Thank you very much. Because, like I said, there are countries in the world that prove it doesn't work. The only place that single-payer healthcare works is small population, relatively homogenous countries that, don't have massive influxes of immigrants and crazy shit like that. Anytime, like every country that you would pick out to try and say, so and so's got a pretty good country, government system. Every time someone does that, you ever notice that they pick out a country whiter than America is? It's like they never pick out like anywhere in Africa. They pick out like Sweden, a country with a higher percentage of white people. It's like, really? So, I mean, is the argument that Sweden's doing good because they know how to manage things better? Or is the argument that Sweden's doing as well as it's doing because they have a much more homogenous society and they don't have to worry about, the non-white people or whatever taking advantage? And even today they do. I mean, they've imported so many Muslims into Sweden that like Malmo and places like that are, the leading Europe in bombing and hand grenade attacks and acid attacks and shit like that. So no, we're not doing that in America for sure. But let's move on.
Send them to fucking Meta. Send them to
Send them to Meta? Great fucking idea. Amazing idea. I think that social media companies should be massively regulated, and they should have that regulation, and I think they deserve it because they enjoy a privilege with Section 230 that allows them to make billions of dollars on other people's work that they have.
Free speech should never be regulated, and now you're sounding like the crybaby Germans that J.D. Vance called out, because the problem is once you open the door to regulation, you don't know who's going to end up in that position. And then what happens when you end up with a power mad, lesser bureaucrat that's willing to basically just destroy everything, because you gave them the power to do so. No.
Have no right to. Completely agree with you again.
Stop agreeing with him, Asmongold. It's making you look like a...
And I've criticized, by the way, I've criticized all of this in the past. I don't know if this is going to come up for anything.
Yeah, every time.
No, not a whole lot.
Guy,
Australia to ban children from social media. I was very positive about this. I was also very positive about this as well. Using social media. This could be it. I don't really know. Social media is fucking us up. You're going to see me saying this as well. If you look at any of my content that I've discussed on social media, it's been the same thing every single time.
Which is super hypocritical.
I've been consistent in
considering
this.
You've become a million
Cats.
off of social media.
Send them to the goddamn car lobbyists that keep us from being able to have energy efficient and less expensive public transportation. Use your fucking
wait, let me listen to that again.
Public transportation sucks. As somebody whose dad grew up in Queens, yeah, public transportation sucks balls. And this idea that, hey, let's take away everyone's freedom to own a vehicle and therefore go wherever they want, whenever they want, and let's force them to rely upon the government for travel. No, again, that's some totalitarian shit. And everything these assholes on the left come up with, it's always a way to remove a human being's basic right to defend themselves, to travel, to do whatever it is that they want to do. Because these are evil people. And that's just the way they are. They again, they can't help it. They're evil. So no. While public transportation I like, but we're not going to trade the ability to personally own a freaking car so that we can have the ability to ride on a stinky ass piss-filled bus with a bunch of lunatics. That would just be stupid. It'd be very, very stupid. So let's not even talk about that. That's just stupid.
Car lobbyists that keep us from being able to have energy efficient and
Great point. Absolutely great point. And I remember when Tesla was trying to break into the market.
And so again, Asmongold showing that he's an idiot. Great point. Absolutely great point. No, it's not a great point, Asmongold, you idiot. And plus, it makes you a hypocrite. You own a car. And it's probably not some rusted out little Camry either. Like I said, Asmongold, you're a millionaire. You have money. So, you know, the fact that you're agreeing with this guy who is obviously an unhinged leftist does not make you cool. And if you really believe the stuff that you're agreeing with, it actually makes you super uncool and basically pretty much an enemy of the state, an enemy of, well, not an enemy of the state because that, you know, you're a statist. It makes you an enemy of the common human being that just wants to be left alone to enjoy their lives. But you and people like you apparently feel like you know better. So therefore, the stupid shit that you want should be implemented because you know better. But you don't know better. That's the real problem here. You don't know better. You are just a guy, you know, who got lucky on the internet because you used to play WoW. That's what you are. You're a guy. So I kind of feel bad for having to go after Asmongold like that because, you know, I do watch his videos, but he don't influence me, obviously. But yeah, everything he just said was just stupid Marxist talking point bullshit.
There was a lot of lobbying and like initial corporate like support to try to suppress Tesla from getting into the market and introducing electronic vehicles into the market. This happened over 10 years ago. I was totally on Tesla's side, and I think that almost everybody else who cared about legitimate free markets was also on Tesla's side as well. I also, even as far back as 2009, signed up for and wanted to work. They actually called me. I ended up not doing it. To work at Greenpeace to promote also not only, you know, like contraception.
See, the problem with Tesla is that if you want an electric vehicle, I think because I am a free market capitalist, you should be able to have the electric vehicle you want, right? Obviously. But if the government mandates that everyone has to have an electric vehicle, now we're in trouble because electric vehicles have a very short range. So basically, again, by mandating an electric vehicle, what you're really doing is you're mandating a free human being's right to travel. Because if I put a full tank of gas in my vehicle, I can be, you know, most of the way up through Georgia on my way to the mountains, right? But a Tesla, no way, no way. Or any electric vehicle. The answer to that would be no, you can't, because the range on them is just so low. And then on top of that, it takes them so long to charge that, you know, pretty much if I want to travel up to Kentucky to visit my relatives, it would take like a week because I got to stop all the time to charge the damn thing up, etc. So no, let's go ahead and nix that right off the bat. No, nope. And I love Tesla. I mean, you know, and if people want to own a Tesla car because they never intend on taking a trip to anywhere very far away, I'm all for it. But it's when it becomes a government mandate that it's like, no, not at all. But Asmongold, I've noticed watching his videos, anytime somebody attacks him, he does everything he can to try to agree with that person somehow.
Perceptives for like Planned Parenthood, but also things like environmental stability and environmental conservative efforts. This is something I did. I was 19 years old at the time. I have political signs that I was advocates for whenever I was still in high school, a teenager. Right? I've got Obama, like, fucking Ron Paul. Like, you can L it or W it all you want, but my point is that this has actually been, what changed? Nothing. Nothing changed. I've been saying this the whole time.
Less expensive public transportation. Use your fucking influence for something other. I mean, imagine having all the power and the influence this guy has. And who does he pick on? Mm-hmm. The LGBT community.
It's because they're doing this and they try to put this in like, let me give a good way to say it.
He's not picking on the LGBT community. It's the T and the Qs that won't shut the fuck up and make a big deal out of everything. You know what I mean? Most of the gay men that I've ever known in my life, and believe it or not, growing up and living in Orlando for a good part of my life, it's been a few that hung out, played Vampire the Masquerade and whatever. We're just normal people. Hell, half of the time I didn't even know they were gay until they told me, because I don't ask, right? But if someone walks in with their "it's man" bullshit, I'm sorry. I can't ignore that, because you are trying to force me to say that something is normal that I know is not normal, or that something is true that I know is not true. That's what you're trying to do. And I can't do it, because it would be betraying myself. Reality, biology, science, God, pretty much everything. It would be betraying everything. And that's why those Q's and T's have such a problem, because they just won't shut the fuck up and live their lives and leave everyone else alone. They have to. And the fact that they latched onto the LGBs, a lot of the L's and the G's are not big fans of those T's, because the T's are just causing problems for everybody. It'd be way better off if the T's would just fuck back off to wherever they came from. And I don't even know where they come from, because like I said, back in 85, I don't remember any T's. This is a modern phenomenon.
This, like, that makes sense. These are people who want everybody else to comply with them, and they don't think that they should be questioned, and they think they can tell everybody else how to act and how to behave. That's the reason why. They're aggressive, they're hostile, and they're rude to people. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why.
Yep. That's the reason why.
Yeah, Asmongold, to read up.
This is total emotional manipulation, and it doesn't work on me at all.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Me neither.
It doesn't. Some guy gets killed, and I'm supposed to now agree with everything that an LGBT person says and say that they're right about everything? Doesn't make any sense. It's completely illogical.
Yeah.
You can, like, how many of you guys think that this is disgusting and think that the person I was watching was retarded?
Well, I think that he's retarded, and I think it's disgusting that he is basically
literally fucking everybody. Fucking everybody thinks this.
Yeah.
His name was Sam.
He's basically standing on the grave of this man that died to try to get some emotion points over on whatever your argument is. And even though I obviously have not agreed with a lot of your arguments, it's still easy to see that this guy is not arguing in good faith. He's trying to bully you emotionally.
Nordquist. He was 24 years old. He's dead now. He was tortured. He was murdered. Never did anything wrong.
You don't know
except
that.
have the fucking confidence, the fucking bones to fucking be who he is.
Which is not true.
Yeah, you don't know he never did anything wrong. He could have been a sex worker. He could have tried to rip those guys off because he was doing drugs. I mean, we'd have to know a lot more than what you're showing before we could make any sort of moral statement about this guy's character. I mean, the fact that you think you know so much about it is really, you know, see, depraved. Transgender man. That means it was a female pretending to be a man. So, yeah, it's possible. It's just a horrible sex crime. I would like to see a picture of the people who committed the crime, though.
That's not true. Now, I would also come to the assumption that it was true, but the police said that they don't know that, so that means you don't know that either, and neither do I.
But I guess that's not good enough for you, Asmongold. He doesn't pass the cool check.
That's right. That's right. That's right, because I think this person's ridiculous. I want a trans person to be tortured and killed. Thank you. Totally logical. Completely makes sense.
For him, because he's dead now.
Great
Is it
framework.
Asmon's fault?
Absolutely.
Let's be clear. Of course not. But could he do better? Yeah, he could, and he should.
So if I could do better and it's not my fault, then why you bring
Asmongold? I don't know if you'll see this video, but this is why I'm telling you, you need to stop hanging out with leftists because they're assholes, right? I mean, this guy has spent this whole video gaslighting you and calling you a horrible guy and insulting you personally. And I'll be fair. Let's be fair. I called you a dumbass a few times because you, for some reason, seem to agree with this idiot's Marxist bullshit. But I mean, why would you want to be on the same team as this guy? That is a question that I want to ask you, or I wish you could answer. Why would you want to be on this guy's team? It's obvious he has no honor and he's a crazy person, and God only knows what else, because these people, they're always the ones that, you find out later, like that cartoon that shows the different predators. I bet he's a male feminist too.
bringing it up? You're bringing it up because you're linking me to it to try to create an emotional manipulation to say that my language and my criticism of this leads to that happening, which is a disgusting mischaracterization, and it's not true in any capacity, and anybody that watches my content would know that immediately.
He should fucking be ashamed of himself, is what I would say. He won't be, probably.
No,
maybe
I'm
he
not.
will, but he probably won't be. But if you watch him, maybe you should hold your heroes to a higher standard, because this is not it, my friends.
Hold yourself to a higher standard. Quit using emotional manipulation.
Heroes? This guy thinks that anyone on Twitch is like a normal human being's hero? I mean, how lame is his life? The answer is very lame. Very lame. I mean, Asmongold can say whatever he wants about whatever he wants. He's not my hero. He's just a guy that I watch because he's entertaining. I mean, shit. If I had a hero that posted online, it would probably be the Angry Gamer, and he only posts on Rumble. But, I like watching his stuff too. I mean, your heroes. Yeah, he's trying to link Asmongold to the worst kind of shit. And then emotionally bully him. That is just bullshit. And that's the kind of person that is just so terrible. Just such a terrible person.
It's not going to work. That's what it is. And you use these implications and you think that people can't see it. It's obvious what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's obvious. So, anyway, yeah. If anything, I'll link it. Like, and here's the thing with David, is that I don't hate David. I think David's a bit of a jackass, but I can respect.
See, here, Asmongold, maybe you should, though, because he hates you. You know, you don't say all the shit he said without a little bit of animus. So while you're trying to be the good guy and be all like, oh no, I'm not, you know, I mean, I used to be a leftist and blah, blah, blah. So why are you being mean to me? These people don't give a shit. They do not give a shit about what you used to do, might have done. None of that. They don't care. And you need to learn that that's not going to change. That will never change. They will always, once you have been put on the radar as like, you know, a heretic, somebody that's not towing the line the right way and stuff like that, you're done. You're cooked, because you will never, ever in a million years get that back. You know what I mean? They will hold that over your head for all of eternity, you know? And that's why I keep saying to you, quit the left, man. They don't like you. It's obvious. And they're not your friends. I mean, the left can't be your friend because you're relatively successful. And that means that the left, which is known for envy, that's like the number one emotion of a leftist is envy. They can never like you and be your friend because in their mind, you are one of the bourgeoisie. You know, you have all this, like how this guy was telling you, why don't you use your money and influence to do this and to do that? And to, you know, I mean, he was basically letting you know right off the bat that you are part of the enemy class in the class war. You are the bourgeoisie, and that he isn't your friend and never will be. Right? That's what happens when you hang out with envious people, which is pretty much everyone that claims to be a leftist is an envious person. That's why they, you know, talk the way they do, and they're constantly concerned with how much money someone makes and stuff because they're just envious pricks. But since you're done talking to David, I'm done talking to David and you. So catch you later, Asmongold. And boom! Oh my God, seeing me that close without warning. I apologize, guys, if I like frightened you. This is going to be a long video. This is a long video. But you know, sometimes people like long form political videos, and even though it's not even political, it's just like, stop being a retard, you know? Realize that these people that you're sucking up to hate you, and that you would be a lot better off hanging out with a bunch of you know, right-wing type dudes who believe in, you know, personal freedom and accountability and that sort of thing, and aren't, you know, of the opinion that because you have been somewhat successful that all of a sudden you owe people stuff. And, you know, also that embrace these non-scientific, non-biological ideologies, you know, because they live in a fantasy world, and you don't want to do that. So before I upload this video, peace and love, guys. God bless. And I hope you were having a good time at work when you listened to this. Also, if I didn't see you in this video, I hope I see you in the next one. So there you go, a political rant. It happens. So let's end this.